It's time to discover crypto. We're going to talk about Trump's remarks on a particular cryptocurrency and also the next narrative in which altcoins are going to follow a huge green candle. Let's dive in. Ow!
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
Thank you for joining, everybody. We have an altcoin that is just blasting off. I'm talking about a 50% gain in 7 minutes, everybody. And we're not talking about a micro cap either. We're talking about what was previously a top 25 coin. It is melting faces right now. Talking about Uniswap. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the next narrative after Depin. We got to talk about Orange Man. Orange Man good, Orange Man bad. Orange Man said something about Orange Coin. That's going to be interesting. Josh, how are you doing today? It's Friday.
I'm doing
Everybody
good.
hit that like.
What a crazy day, guys. It is Friday. So yeah, happy Friday. Enjoy your guys' weekends this weekend. We'll be flying out to Panama. And you'll have these here all next week. But Bitcoin, this is crazy, right? Uniswap in the last 7 minutes, he's not kidding. An altcoin is ripping to the moon and causing an entirely new trend. So the Depin AI category, you guys know, if you guys follow this channel, that we were like, all right, it is pumped so much. Start to proceed with caution. The next trend is right around the corner. We're going to get in that today. But of course, like you said, is Orange Man good? Is Orange Man bad? What has he said? And what is the secret that, of course, everybody's waiting on? We have to wait till after the market update?
All right. Well, yeah, we just did. We have this is a 45-second clip, and he's going to talk about Bitcoin. And let me go ahead and refresh, just make sure we have the audio and everything. I'm going to close this and then jump back in just to make sure. And he was on Fox Business News or Fox News Channel. They asked him about the flagship cryptocurrency Bitcoin. Let's see. All right. I got the two connections. We got the frames per second.
Let us know in chat. Just put good or bad. Think good or bad. I'm just curious. Put good or bad. You guys know exactly what we're asking. Good or bad as we watch this video.
All right, here he goes.
The Chinese digital currency. But isn't the next
Put your volume up more
for you to embrace Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin obviously is decentralized. The government can't get its hands on it. What about Bitcoin with all the young people, including African Americans, who are very interested in it?
Well, a lot of people are doing it. I always liked one currency. I call it a currency. I like the dollar. But a lot of people are doing it. And frankly, it's taken a life of its own. You probably have to do some regulation, as you know. But many people are embracing it. And more I'm seeing people wanting to pay Bitcoin. And you're seeing something that's interesting. So I can live with it one way or the other. I've always liked one really powerful thing, and that's called the dollar.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a dollar maxi, but Bitcoin is very interesting. It's a little bit of a shift of Trump's previous remarks on cryptocurrency, on Bitcoin in particular. I think in the past, he said flat out, I do not like it due to its threat against the dollar. But now some interesting things going on here. A lot of people are interested and signaling a slight shift. And to me, this is the best sign I see here. If he were to win, I expect, maybe a favorable SEC commissioner regarding crypto.
Yeah, I mean, this also brings in a lot of speculation across the board for who his VP is actually going to be, because who is feeding this into his ear on this kind of, not a random change. Everybody saw this narrative starting to shift as he launched his own NFT projects, and he started really raising a lot of money through crypto itself. So the idea of him only being pro-US dollar and not adopting this was kind of something everybody saw coming, in the sense that he was going to switch his mindset on that. But now, let me know in chat, guys. There's a lot of talks of Vivek actually looking to take that VP, and that's what's whispering into his ear. And I think at this point, guys, we all know he's obviously watching what's happening with China. It was mentioned with their digital currency, which is interesting that they even tried relating it. Of course, like that Chinese yuan and that digital currency that they developed is going to have a lot of invasion of privacy. That's your central bank digital currency. They can freeze your bank accounts, all of the ugly stuff. Bitcoin is decentralized. And as he said, he is starting to say, you know what, I can live with it. And that's a huge shift as a presidential nominee, guys. Like, this is not something to take lightly, whether you like it or not. You really have to go into this election cycle saying, okay, what do I want out of it? Because it doesn't matter about the people and like the face of it, right? If it's Biden or Trump, that's not what I'm worried about at all as someone that's in crypto. I'm worried about the cabinet members and the Supreme Court justices and who's going to take over Gary Gensler's position as a commissioner. I want to know who's going to benefit this decentralized industry in the future rather than centralize it and control it with something like a CBDC. So I think it's really bullish that this came out of that.
Very, very bullish. And, we'll just reiterate our statement real quick, and then we'll look at his past comments, because his past comments are pretty shocking compared to what we're seeing today. Many people are embracing it. Many people want it. I'm seeing something that's interesting. I can live with it one way or the other. A lot of people are doing it. It's taken a life of its own. Well, what did he say in the past? Well, it's been a long-standing skepticism. In a post in 2019, he said, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other crypto. In an interview just 3 years ago, he said Bitcoin seemed like a scam, expressing concerns about his competition with the dollar. But then fast forward to today, just last month, he had a new NFT collection on Bitcoin ordinals, following the success of 2 earlier collections. There were going to be airdrop ordinals if you bought a certain amount of his original drop there. And then the latest comments are coming ahead of the 2024 election. Meanwhile, Biden maintained a skeptical view of Bitcoin and other crypto. He's proposed a number of measures to control crypto, including a 30% tax on crypto mining electricity use, increased capital gains taxes, and control of crypto money laundering transactions. So, folks, what are your thoughts here? Let's see. Josh, never a truer statement. A lot of people are upset they're bringing up identity politics on that interview. I would agree with that as well. WEF guy, just double click on that, double check that. What you see might enlighten you on that, but I would say just, do a little bit of a deep dive on that. Let's see here. I'm reading. Look into it more. Will he look into it more?
They go,
The biggest question I saw from chat here, Nick, I want your take here too. Will he add Bitcoin as a part of our reserve currency to help strengthen the dollar? What are the odds of that? If you had to put odds on it
for Trump,
yeah, less than 10%, less than 1%.
It's non-zero, but it's close to it.
Yeah,
close to it.
I would say it's 0.01. I like RFK's projections on that, but I just don't think from the independent. He is obviously the largest independent leader that we've seen in modern history. So there is a lot of really cool things I think he has for his policy perspective on the crypto industry. Not maybe towards geopolitics. I don't agree with some stuff there, but from Trump's perspective, yeah, I think it's going to be a near zero factor on that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I don't want Bitcoin to be a reserve currency. It makes no sense to have that because the government, guys, we're talking about the most powerful asset managers and companies in the world, the central bank, the money printer, right? For them to adopt that as a reserve currency, the amount of control that they would establish and regulate on that industry is what I would be worried about. So the on and off ramps, the KYC, the AML, the cabinet, everybody that is in positions of power to decide what can and can't happen in this industry as a retail investor compared to a banker, that's where I would get worried. So I really don't want to see that reserve statement because it's already a reserve statement for over 14 countries around the world as it is breaking all-time highs compared to that Bitcoin dollar. So this isn't about the US, in my opinion. This is about the entire global economy. And I want that separated as a store of value. That is why we Bitcoin. We have that freedom. We hate that invasion of his privacy. And I personally don't want to see that. And I would have to agree that it would be a good thing if he does.
There is a Trump-inspired meme coin that is just melting faces. And that's not even the coin I was talking about. There is another major coin that's just seen a 50% pump out of nowhere. But MAGA has another pump here. MAGA just hit another 20% pump to outshine Doge, Shiba, and some of the other memes here. Launched on August 11th, 2023. And it described itself as a meme coin to make crypto great again. Should be noted, it doesn't have any official connection to former President Trump. I don't know if they mentioned how they airdropped him some, but yeah, it doesn't say here in the article, but they actually airdropped, the devs or some team members airdropped Donald Trump some of this meme coin. It was only worth $8K at the time. It was only worth $8,000. I believe it's 7 figures now. MAGA is now hitting almost $4. And it was Sistine Research was telling people about this coin. I want to say at 8 cents. If we go down in the low areas there.
Isn't that where the blockchain basement was talking about it?
I know they're at least talking about it around
it was
there.
Like $1.10.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it on my radar around the first pump right here when it first hit above 50 cents. Or maybe it was even this pump right here when it hit around 50 cents. No, it was. I saw the first pump, did not buy the dip. If I would have bought the dip, I think I would have been pretty happy about that one. But what are your thoughts here?
I'm just speaking of price action, I do want to go over the charts here. The MAGA token, it makes sense, guys. This isn't about what you like and what you don't like. It's about simply hype. That is all there is to these type of tokens. And of course, moving into a presidential election, that is a token, especially if he starts gaining a lot more mainstream attention, which he already has a ton of. But if as that battles and gets really, really competitive towards the elections at the end of the cycle, those tokens can run. I would just say be very careful because they're all based off that speculation. A token like that would probably crash if obviously he were to lose. So just have that in mind in terms of, those meme coins. But we do have obviously the charts here, guys. Let's go through these. Bitcoin at like $50,900.
Yeah, it is still holding above 50, but it is now below 51,000, $50,992 right there at 51K. ETH has fallen 2%. It is below 3K. So we've lost some of these psychological support levels. Solana holding on by a thread for $100 right here. It is down 4%. We look, Cardano is down 2.4% as well. But folks, we've been teasing the big gainer. And we're telling you the next altcoins that are going to pump. I hope you're ready. Look at Uniswap, everybody. Uniswap is up 63% at the moment right now. If we click on Uniswap, we're going to, it is.
It's done 400 more million in volume since we went from the back of the studio to get on the studio this morning. That's like 30 minutes.
Has. Yeah, right before the show, this was at 700 million and now is 1.1 billion in trading volume for the 24-hour chart. So Uniswap, if you remember my criticism of Uniswap was they're not sharing the revenue. Well, they might be sharing the revenue one day soon, folks. The Uni jumps 50% on a proposal. Don't worry, we'll look at the rest of the coins. I want to get into the weeds here. But let me go ahead and just throw a little cold water on it. The upgrade would reward Uni token holders who stake and delegate their tokens according to the proposal. So if you have 100 Uni on your Coinbase app, you are not going to be able to take part of this. You're not going to be getting the revenue from the website here. But yeah, it looks like it jumped over 60% after the proposal to overhaul the governance system, and they'll reward the holders who do something with the coins there. And we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Because it still has to pass a vote. It's my understanding it's just a couple weeks from now. I think it's the beginning part of March there.
Yeah, what I wanted to show here, and I know you got probably a play coming out of this too, guys. If you click on the decentralized exchanges, you'll notice that they're all ripping. Like, of course, Uniswap up 61% is shocking because it's literally a top 15 token. Top 15 token is pumping 60% in 24 hours. And in fact, it's been like 30 minutes. But the DEX are starting to all rip behind it. So you have Pangolin, which is up 112%, Sushi. They're all starting to move with it. And if you notice, I'm not going to do the 24 hours. I'm going to leave that to here, but I want to click on the 24 hours in the sense of the top losers in this last hour since this started taking place. Guys, AI and Depin, Fetch, WorldCoin, Singularity, Render, Filecoin, the Graph, all those AI tokens, people are taking those profits and moving them into this next trend. So just take that as maybe a short-term effect that trend may no longer be your friend with AI and Render, and it's starting to shift.
Yeah, and if you scroll down, there's a couple other big winners, relatively big winners. Sushi is up 15%. Like you said, Orca is up double digits as well. Joe, had a nice little spike there at the end. But folks, there are some coins or some exchanges that are red. And folks, these are strong exchanges. We'll get into it. I'm going to do a video tonight going over, some of the top ecosystems, talking about some of the top coins. What's the top DEX on those coins? And then, what's the winners and who hasn't pumped yet? I know I would want to put my capital in the DEXs that haven't pumped yet. So let me walk through this because there's going to be a lot of people, they don't even know how you pulled up that screen, Josh. If you go to Uniswap on CoinGecko, you do the same thing with CoinMarketCap, and you scroll down, you're going to see categories. And then when you go to categories, you go to decentralized exchange, click on that button, and it'll pull up all the DEXs for you. And yeah, there's some big, good DEXs in here that I'm very interested in, and I would maybe not discount. I'll go ahead and say, Jupiter is taking all the thunder for Solana DEXs right now, but look at Radium. Radium is down 6.3%. I haven't done any deep dive on this. This probably won't even make it in the video. I need to check out, their comms, check out their tokenomics. Everything looks not terrible though. So yeah, there's a little opportunity here, folks. So I would just, caution. You don't want to chase a pump. Chase the thing that hasn't pumped yet if you're in a narrative play. Let's see. Sia Coin, Flare, DYDX, Flow, Singularity Net is still melting faces, everybody. This AI play isn't playing around. It's still just continuing to print green candles, and now it is 100% on the weekly there. Aave is up. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of coins piggybacking off this DEX play. But are there some losers? Is there anything scary?
Sadly, well, you have to find out after you guys smash that like button on this video. And we come back from the commercial break. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Yeah, there is some losers here today.
Helium is down. Ron is down. Ordi is down 7.8% right there. Injective is down. Fetch AI. So not all AI plays are equal here. You have some Some AI plays, some of the top gainers, some AI plays, some of the biggest losers here. Immutable X is down as well. It's a great gaming play. Celestia is down. And I tell you what, Tia, you keep getting cheaper. I'm going to have to deploy a little bit more capital. But then you click the 3-month and you're like, maybe not. Maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait for more correction. That 7-day chart, though, on Tia doesn't look terrible.
Starting to look good, you know?
Yeah.
Starting to look good. But yeah, no, you're starting to see those inch up. But I really believe in this next hour, you're going to start seeing a lot those profits really start to shift because the hourly is wild to watch. Just with literally the outflows going into the inflows on these dexes right now.
All right, we got a couple questions here. Bitcoin to 42K because interest is shrinking by the general public. Leroy, Bitcoin going to 42K is very doable. You're going to be looking, that's only about a 20% drawdown. And we've gone over the charts before. If you look at the last 12 months, we just keep printing 20% drawdowns. Sometimes it's 19%. Sometimes it's as high as 22%. And so that would kind of fit within that narrative. I would not be surprised to see that play out. But speaking of Bitcoin, really, Bitcoin outperforms all world assets 3 out of 4 years. Here is how the bear market wrecks it. And then we have a flat year, flat in crypto terms, but it still probably beats most S&P. And then we have 2 years where it just absolutely crushes, including one where it absolutely dominates here. And he was looking at the annual performance of the largest asset classes: gold, S&P, the SPX here, the aggregated bond index, the U.S. high yield corporate bond index, and the Dow Jones index here, and the commodity index. And Bitcoin is just beating it 75% of the time. Is now still a good time to buy Bitcoin relative to stocks, Josh?
A good time to buy Bitcoin relative to stocks?
Yes.
Well, I know I have an interesting take on this, but Bitcoin is extremely relative to stocks because it follows the NASDAQ literally to a T as a tech stock. So like, for example, guys, NVIDIA, we've been covering that a ton, is larger than the entire crypto industry. So Bitcoin kind of fluctuates and follows this category very, very similar. There's a very high correlation to it, but it outpaces it by a milestone. So like if the NASDAQ's moving up, the charts on a zoomed out perspective look the same, but the rewards and the returns are always going to be much higher in a smaller asset such as Bitcoin here. So, you're going to see it on this chart down here. I want to pull this up here. I think you have it actually on your screen. If you scroll down, it has outperformed almost every single year.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to know from that. And I think that's going to happen and continue to happen over the next decade. I think you got still probably another cycle or two before Bitcoin actually starts to really slow down. I do believe in diminishing returns in the sense that if it starts competing at that $5-6 trillion market cap, guys, Bitcoin ain't doing 2Xs, 3Xs on an occasion, right? It's going to start being slower gains, 10, 15%. And eventually, as a store of value, if the world really perceives it as that and hits a $10, $13 trillion market cap, a bad day for Bitcoin is not going to be a 30% dip. It's going to be a 5%, right?
And I found this little segment. This is really fascinating. Talking about Bitcoin versus gold. If you put in $1, I know this is the perfect time to buy Bitcoin. We're talking about when Bitcoin first launched. If you put $1 into Bitcoin 14 and a half years ago, not sold until today, your $1 turns into $38 million. If you put $1 in gold, you get $1.94. So just a little bit of divergence there, folks. I like highlighting that. I know it's choosing Bitcoin at the exact right time, and there's times where you could buy Bitcoin versus gold, and you're losing money if you buy the tops there. But yeah, very interesting. $1, 38 million bucks. Gold, $1, not even $2, folks. Sounds sad. All right, Bitcoin market cap could reach $6 trillion, a quarter of the monetary gold market. We were talking about some asset just targets for the total crypto market class in that podcast yesterday. 5 trillion feels pretty doable to me. Do you think we can hit 10 trillion? What are your thoughts on 6 trillion
in this next cycle or overall?
Yeah, in this next cycle.
I know I have kind of I don't know what the right term would be, a different perspective. Contrarian, thank you.
Contrarian
outlier. Yeah, contrarian perspective on this, but I'm honestly really watching the data points that come in with the bond market and the federal interest rates, because if we are tracking it in comparison with that correlation to the NASDAQ, there is a chance that I believe that the Bitcoin halving is going to shift this narrative just a little bit, where we do have a buy the rumor, sell a news event, and we have a lot of trading sideways action, maybe up and then start some upward pressure back until the end of the elections, if not the new year. But 6 trillion, dude, I would love to see that. You know what that would mean for us?
What would it mean?
It would just mean we'd make so much freaking money. Like there's a part of me, my geometry teacher used to tell me in this class, anytime I had an issue with the math equation.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
No, I never remembered it, but it was, no, it's, life is rough and then you die. And that, I know that sounds so harsh coming from that, but she'd be like, figure it out. That was kind of what she was telling me. Figure it out. You need to learn yourself. You need to figure it out. And so I have this just like maybe conservative perspective on, I would love to see 6 trillion. I just saw what happened to retailers last cycle, and I already think we're 50% into this bull run, at least in the near term. It's kind of just this weird outlook I have right now. But overall, I have a very different perception on the next decade. I think Bitcoin can reach like a 657,000 price target compared to gold with its marginal costs. I think that store value will exist. I just don't know if that's this year or next year because of the macro environment with everything we had from COVID and the interest rate market, or if that's another cycle from now. I can't tell that. I can't predict that.
Yeah, no, we can't predict what new technologies are going to do to gold's price either. You know, there's like gold in seawater. That's an actual thing. And I don't want to go crazy space age. We're going to mine asteroids in 2 years. But, you know, I do think there's going to be some novel ways to mine gold. And who knows what the boring company
You say that as a joke. It's like so freaking true. It's like there might be, I don't know if you guys just saw, we just landed on the moon with the space mission the other day because we're going to go there in 2026. What are we, 8 years away from mining meteors? Like, I wouldn't be, would you be shocked from that? And then all of a sudden, a lot of these commodities have different price targets than Peter Schiff might have thought once because it's way easier to get.
Or there's just rampant inflation and everything's higher than everybody thinks. So they're comparing it to, gold will be 30% higher 10 years from now. What if it's 100% higher? What if it's 200% higher? We don't know what's going to happen. I do want to throw out their matrix port target here for next month. They are saying next month, $63,000 Bitcoin. Chat, if you want to do a poll, will we hit 63K in March? I'm interested.
I'm selling at that range.
I'm saying no. No, I think there's going to be a lot of a drawback on the first Bitcoin hype cycle here.
Let me ask you this. If it was at 63K and we're approaching that halving date, we know it's like a few days or a few weeks from there, are you going to be taking profit or are you going to be buying more?
I'm not buying. If we go to 63 very quickly, yeah, I'm not interested in buying much crypto around those levels like DCA. And if you look, 63 is the first cycle top for 2021. So expect a lot of selling pressure around that area. And people are going to try to front run the selling pressure. So they're going to say, I'm smart and I'm selling at 62. Going, I'm smarter. I'm going to sell at 61. And then you have someone who's like, I'm not selling to 69. Where do you want to be when the music stops playing? Do you want a chair or do you want to, fall on your butt, everybody? Let's see here. Retail was behind February's pump. It was you. It was me. It was Josh. It was you hitting that like button, helping this video hit all the airwaves. And folks, if you're just now joining, we bring you live content Monday through Friday. It's going to be the DZ show next week, by the way. We have representatives south of the border, not in Mexico City. You're going to Panama.
Well, watch the how you phrase that there. No, I'll be in Panama though, calling in a few of the days. Yeah. Not every day. I'll do just like a little 10-minute update or whatever. But we'll be with Singularity Ajax. So the product is pumped over 100%. We'll actually be there with the founder and the CEO.
What a perfect time.
Yeah.
What a perfect time. Coming after Sora, everyone's going to be happy. It's not like a bear market crypto conference. It's going to be a bull market crypto conference.
All I'm going to say is if I'm in a huge group of people and the Ajax team's not offering to pay for dinner, I'm going to be like, I know where those bags are at.
I would be quite upset if an AI crypto company didn't pay for dinner. I would be even more upset if I didn't see an army of robots like come out from, behind the curtain.
I'm expecting Sophia to just walk in and pay the bill for us.
Yes.
The robot from Hanson.
It just like touches its finger on like the little trackpad that the waitress is carrying, just like ding, and all of a sudden it's like $100 tip.
Iris scan.
Per head. All right, retail investors, you were the reason we pumped in February, according to JP Morgan here. Increased retail activity comes ahead of the three main catalysts: Bitcoin halving, Depin upgrade, and other Ether ETFs, or the approval of spot Ether ETFs. First, before we get into the article, are these the three big catalysts for 2024? I kind of say it is. I think the halving is going to be the biggest catalyst.
Number one. What's number two?
Number two was, if we want to do the whole year, January, it's technically Bitcoin ETF. And so that happened in January of 2024. So I would say Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, we already got one of the four done. Depin upgrade is probably now. Then, all right. I'll ask Nick. What's more important, Depin upgrade or ETH ETF for the prices?
ETF.
I tend to agree.
I think it'd be ETH just because retail, right?
No one gives two craps about an Ethereum upgrade.
Like a guy named Duncan. Like
no one.
You know a Duncan?
The basement devs do.
No, they don't.
People with severe autism.
That's true.
Okay. There's some. Hey, there's more every year now.
But they're buying NFTs. They're not buying ETH.
Oh man, yeah, you got me there.
Well,
if they're not into like Bitcoin DeFi, that is.
Well, we do know we are making tons of profits. Chat's been shouting out that we called, Ordi swap here. That's up 20% here at 10 cents, guys. So with all the profits that are being taken, guys, there's a lot of bullish catalysts and there's some top altcoins that we're going to be talking about later in the show. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys stick around. Make sure you hit that like button. We're going to be talking about our next trends, the next trends we think that are going to be popping off before the Bitcoin halving. There's still tons of money to be made in this market. But if you guys make that money, you need to know how to pay your taxes, because if you don't pay those taxes, well, I don't think jail food tastes so good. You can maybe hit up SBF on X and he might be able to tell you. But we have none other than Decrypted.tax Ernest joining us today just to get some answers about tax season, maybe his overall thoughts on just the macro environment, and just to prepare ourselves for tax season. Ernest, how you doing?
Can't.
Ernest, we lost your mic. Try again.
Might be a little muted. We're matching today, though, chat. Look at this. Me and Ernest, we're just tax season, tax day.
The IRS Cyber Enforcement Division.
Danny coming in with the $100, baby. Good morning, dude. Danny, I hope you're having a wonderful Friday.
That is worth a simultaneous sip. Everybody, if you got your coffee, you got your energy drink, you got your water, you got your spirits, let's go ahead and take a sip together here.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you, Danny.
I'm just juiced here, guys. Working all night on Bitcoin to pump the price and seeing on the morning what you sell at always higher price, and when you always fall, I think it's manipulated by AI.
Hang on. Ernest, can you hang up and then call back? Okay. We'll come back to Ernest.
We'll see Ernest in just a second, chat here. Let us know your questions. If you guys have any questions on tax season, guys, we got some cool announcements for you guys. So just let us know. Any questions, we're going to take some for chat just to get with Ernest here. Been a huge supporter of the channel. Amazing team over there. And they're doing free consultations. And trust me, guys, when I took that consultation, I thought I knew how to do my taxes through TurboTax. I
think
not.
we got him
Do
now.
I have sound now?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to pull the ear thing on now.
There we go. Welcome, Ernest. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, we hear you.
I'm doing good.
All
We're
right.
matching. I don't know if you noticed. Just
Yeah.
got a little
I
nicer
see
of a
that.
blazer, but
Yeah, well, it's all right. Yeah, tax season's heating up. We're scaling up, and we're ready to hit the ground running. Everything looks good for this year. Tax, our team is ready to go.
All right, Decrypted, I have a quick question for you, Ernest. Now, a lot of people in crypto, they experience FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And I have a fear of missing out. Josh got
I have a fear of doing my taxes.
I have a fear of not having a consultation with you. I do know you have limited time. Are you still doing some free consultations, or is that too much to ask?
No, we still do free consultations. I spend most of my time on consultation calls. My staff handles most of the preparation. I review, but we're doing consultation calls all day, every day.
All right. Well, I know time is finite, and I'm not Superman. I can't fly around the globe, make it go backwards here. How many spots do you have left for next week? Because I might go ahead and try to get in on that.
I'm sure we have plenty. The schedule, if you look on the website, there's a really good calendaring system. It has every opening, and I've actually opened up. We were allocating more time in between calls, but I've shortened that up, and we brought on extra staff to handle some of those calls if we have any overload.
Yeah, right. I wanted to do a little bit of a hopefully free consultation here live, just taking some questions from the community, because a lot of people have a lot of concerns. So
like you'll share your social security number, your mother's...
My seed phrases, you guys get it all right now. My passcodes to my everything, guys. No, just kidding. But we have Average Joe here, and honestly, a lot of the questions we're going to get for the community are things I know everybody struggles with and may not want to admit. So it's really awesome just to be able to ask these live with you. But he said, I haven't filed in like 3 years. Never filed multiple years at once, but plan on it this year. We'll see how that goes. For people that are worried about, maybe they just feel like they're a criminal because they did not pay taxes last year, or maybe just went to file through something like TurboTax and it was like a $5,000 fee and they've just been struggling with paycheck to paycheck. They haven't been able to pay that off. Where do these people stand? Are they going to be in trouble? Is there a way out of this? And can they do that with you?
The best way we do a lot of multi-year filings. We have a lot of clients that come in and all good intentions, but they get a year or two behind, and we handle that. That's not a problem. The IRS just wants you to file. They really they come after folks that do not file, but But if you go to them and you tell them, hey, I want to get caught up. This is what I've filed. You get everything filed and then you review it with them. We do that all the time.
All right, Ernest, I have a tendency to ask questions that are totally off the rails, totally off the subjects. What was it like growing up with the name Ernest in the 90s with the popularity of the Ernest movies?
Yeah, Ernest goes to everywhere. That was tough. I have to admit, in my young years, I fought a lot over the Ernest name. So
well, his movies were kind of condescending, right? It was like Ernest is stupid or Ernest goes dumb. I don't know. So I can see that being an issue. Did you try by going? Did you try the Ernie route or the Ernie, like from the show ATL?
I did go Ernie for a little while. I think when I was in my teenage years, my mom always called me Ernie. My dad was also Ernie, so we were used to it. But my mom would always say, earnestly, honestly, come on now, what are you doing?
All right, and that segment was for the 0.02% of people out there with also the last name or the first name Ernest. They're like, yes, the segment's for me.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
your names. We have like 4 Nicks. I know.
Yeah,
It was like
here.
Josh. I had 4 Joshes in my class, and I only had 70 students in my class overall. It was like, but I didn't have Ernest. I have Ernest.
All right,
I do have a quick question for Ernest, though, real quick.
Yeah.
There's been a ton of changes. You can't see me, can you? No, you can't. No. I'm just the voice now. So there's been a ton of changes to the tax code for 2024, especially for S corps and LLCs. Is that something that is going to complicate people's taxes? Are they more complicated now than ever, or is this something that you've got a grasp on? People just need to come talk to you.
Yeah, they just need to give us a call. I do LLCs and S corps regularly, all the time. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. So certainly give us a call. We try to make it. That's one thing I bring to the table is I try to make it simple for people so that they can understand what it is that they need to do and get them on board and get them compliant and stay compliant. And I'm always available. Either myself or my staff are available for questions by text message or through the website anytime.
So what's the biggest change that's going to trip people up that's happened for this tax year?
The biggest change that's going to trip people up for this year. I can't think of one right off.
Well, we got one Johnny saying, what about the new tax law about transactions over 10K must be reported within 15 days of the transaction? Can you speak on that one?
Sure. It's the same reporting. If you go to your bank and you deposit or withdraw more than $10,000 in cash, there's a reporting requirement. It doesn't affect your taxes. They just want that information. And so it's just an informational reporting that you do.
Gotcha.
Dusto, you want to ask Dusto's question?
Yeah, he said, do you have to claim crypto you stole asking for a friend? I'm serious. What's funny is like some of these questions are probably really legitimate. So that's not from we're just taking community questions here.
So ill-gotten goods always have to be claimed. I mean, they got most of the actions that they take against organized crime are tax evasion. They can't prove the underlying crime, but they can prove that you got the cash. And they're getting a lot better at proving that you got either crypto or the cash. They have a whole team of experts that are watching the blockchain, and they know when these transactions happen.
And we have Alden also asking, or Alden that kind of comes off this as well, not as illicit at all whatsoever. But he says, if I only put money into the market last year and never pulled any out, do I have to claim any taxes? And I would like to add on to that. Does he have to claim any taxes, or does he only claim taxes when he makes a transaction? He's, buying or selling in and out of that asset.
So that's a very common question. And here's the caveat. If you put your money in an exchange, Kraken, and you trade within Kraken, you have a tax consequence to every trade. So regardless of whether you pull it out of your exchange and put cash back in your bank account, there are tax consequences. And even if you trade Ethereum for Bitcoin or vice versa, there's a taxable event with each one of those transactions as well.
All right. And we had someone else I was looking at. They were talking about the cost basis. Can you redact a report to only show cost basis of your transactions?
Well, you have to report your cost basis when you do a transaction. So you'll
That would
have
be
to
fine.
report that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think the last one I see here is, what about if the deposit is a personal checking? Do I have to report that if it's over more than 10K? So pretty much just making a transaction over 10K here.
Yes. Yeah. The
Okay.
reporting
I think it's any
requirement
size,
is on
right?
the bank. Yeah, it's on the bank. The bank has a reporting requirement, and there are other reports that the banks do. They do the SARS reports, it's suspicious activity reports that
Mhm.
they do. So if there's a series of transactions that goes over the 10,000, they'll just take it upon themselves to report that information. End of the day, there's going to be a lot more information reported that can be processed, I think, in any given year. And so they're going to have to scale up. The IRS is going to scale up, and they're going to have to understand. And I've had really good luck speaking with auditors. We explain it to them in a way that they can understand. And given that I've worked in accounting for so long, I can help out with that.
All right. Well, Ernest, it's always a great time when you have you on as
Yeah.
decrypted.tax. Go check out, get a consultation in now before I take up all the spots. I'm going to go ahead and I got a file as well, Ernest. So we'll be chit-chatting in the near future. But folks, go to the website. He has a calendar set up. Get your consultation started. Go ahead and, I mean, there's certain people you could ruffle feathers. Uncle Sam is not one of them, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
Appreciate you for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Decrypted. Appreciate it. Yeah, decrypted.tax. Go check that out. We have a link in the description, right?
I love how chat is like, guys, taxes are important, guys. Not up to you to. We're not forcing you to do them. Okay, but that's entirely up to you. And I'm just gonna say that doesn't end up well for any white collar individual, whatsoever. So
I mean,
really
it didn't even work for Blade. Okay,
no,
it didn't work for Blade. Do you think it's going to work for you? No, it's not going to work for you. Too soon.
Too
All right,
soon. But let's get back to these altcoins.
Yeah.
Let's get into our picks, our trends. I know you got some stories coming up. What are we watching out for now that AI is crumbling in front of us?
All right. Well, we scroll forward. All right. Well, there's one thing I need to mention first, though. There's just such a bullish number. It's going to shock you. BlackRock, right? So BlackRock, I know technically they don't quote unquote own Bitcoin. They're holding Bitcoin for their clients. They went from 0 to 120,000 in 6 weeks. Everybody, 20,000 Bitcoin a week. That's a lot of Bitcoin, everybody. I almost want to do the math just for, the 10-minute blocks, because we're making much, much less than 20,000 Bitcoin every week. The firm's acquisition worth $6.3 billion is still less than 1% of Bitcoin's circulating supply, indicating significant market influence. So I just wanted to highlight that number. They're knocking on the doors of some of the big wallets that are out there in the ecosystem. Move over Binance, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and et cetera. 2 ETFs ranked top 8 for ETF inflows. That was pretty good so far. I think that'll keep continuing to shine there. But you said you want to talk about some altcoins before we get into. Well, I know Johnny wanted to talk about Marathon. What altcoins were you talking about here?
Well, for just a really quick market update, I'm setting up the high block here just so everybody kind of knows what's happening. Because while we have these DEXs pumping, Bitcoin is dumping. Okay, it is actually dropping down by about $600, and I'm trying to refresh this here to -$5 billion delta spread. We are starting to see a lot more short stack up on the market and people betting on that downside. 5 billion isn't necessarily a lot. I like to see this hit about a -10 to 20 billion. That high teen range is where you tend to get a reversal here. But we are watching the liquidations stack up. Okay, this is super important for you guys watching. So smash that like button, share this with a friend, because we are getting liquidations above us now at $56,000, as well as about 53.5, 53.1. And even some in the 60K range. So are we going to break lower? You'll notice that we've been consolidating between this liquidity range. So all you need to pay attention to, guys, on this chart, it's not that complicated. When there's a massive blue range, this is where generally Bitcoin's price is going to bounce in between it because there's not a lot of liquidity within it. So the price is being pulled one way or another. You can think of them as magnets. So if Bitcoin were to break through 53,000, it's almost instant, upside to at least that bottom of this 56K level. So what we're seeing, guys, I'm going to zoom in. We're seeing a disgusting amount of liquidations below us, which could mean And more than likely, how this works is this is an indicator that is going to turn into some significant support, which is at the 50,000. You know, it would grab all that liquidity at 49.8. And when we look at signals, check it out. We actually just filled a massive imbalance on the market. These yellow lines right here that you can see, it's very faded right here. This is all how you read the chart, guys. That's a magnet. Prices love to pull to that. And then the purple lines are kind of support and resistance levels here. But traditionally, when we grab these EIs, you get that liquidity swing and it turns into support or it turns into resistance. So I really want to watch this over the next couple of hours here, see if we can actually turn it to support on the daily. If so, I do believe we might actually get some upside. I would be more bullish than bearish. If we do break below it, I think the worst case scenario would be like the 47K range. And that would cause like literally a cascade effect of like a negative 20 billion spread. So right now, guys, for Bitcoin is dropping. It is right now testing a support level. And if it can't hold that, there can be some downside here in the coming days. But for the altcoins, I don't know if you had the articles already ready to go. I want to get into just the overall trends I'm kind of seeing start to take place. I know you were looking through some Web3 gaming. There's the DEXs, but what happens when DEXs start to explode? A ton of liquidity is added to certain environments. And whether or not that's because of a proposal through Uniswap, you traditionally see that to start to flow over. Of course, the one we've been watching is those Bitcoin layer 2 DeFis. And that's why Ords is moving today on top of the swing here with Uniswap. Up now 20%, about to test that 10-cent level. Shout out to anybody in the chat that is holding those. But before, there is articles. We need to get to the articles. We need to get to the news before we get into all of our favorite picks. Let me know in the comments, guys, what your favorite altcoin picks are. Are you in Ords? Did you get in this with us? And we'll pull these up. I'm going to pull up some charts for you guys to go through at the end of this stream.
All right. And I do want to talk about an IPO with a particular large altcoin you may have heard of, Ether. Did you know Reddit holds Bitcoin and Ether according to the IPO filing here? I saw this tweet here. Very intrigued why a Reddit S1, this is the paperwork required here, hit one of my Bloomberg alerts that I use to track crypto filings is because they bought Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it says that they bought Ether and Polygon to pay for the sales of certain virtual goods. They say they hold cryptocurrencies and experiment with blockchain technology, which may subject us to exchange risk and additional tax, legal, and regulatory environments. Bitcoin, briefly jumped there. Now it's kind of retracing a little bit. And the fact that they hold Bitcoin and Ether means that it's set to soon join the ranks of several other majorly publicly traded companies in the U.S. to have invested in crypto. I want to see their numbers there. Did not disclose how much it has bought, but if it buys more than $10 million worth, it would be in the top 20 largest holders amongst public companies. So maybe when we get more and more quarterly filings, if they do end up getting approved for the IPO, we'll get some actual numbers here. So we pulled up 120 by BlackRock. Still number one, MicroStrategy, 175,000 coins. Of course, speculation is how soon till they get 210K? That's going to be 1% of all Bitcoin that will ever be mined once they hit 210. I don't know if they'll hit 210. Seems pretty likely it happens this year, potentially here. Let's see. We have Jack Dorsey blog post, 90% boost in Bitcoin gross profits. Kind of what Josh is talking about. Swap is going to be a great way to profit off of that. Crazy. Chat's going to get a little excited here, maybe. Pelosi has now made 10 years worth of salary through her NVIDIA trade. We covered this trade. In fact, I even did a video on Pelosi and some of the politicians' trades. She is now up $1.8 million in just 92 days. Her yearly salary, $175K, 10x. The day she bought, the day she filed, and then look what happened after the fact there. So, Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, really good traders there. Wouldn't you agree?
The best traders. I don't think that's inside trading. I think they're just really good at what they do and have no information whatsoever. I think they're really good people, and I support them wholeheartedly.
You know what? I'd show up to the door with a drink in my hand. I'd hammer on that door trying to get in because I want to hang out so much.
Candidate.
I would want to hang out. That's all I'm saying.
Good for her. Good for her with that Botox. But dude, yeah, it's so corrupted. It's just a slap across our face and just makes you guys realize that, if you really want to be the best trader in these markets, you just got to run for Congress or some committee membership position. We also have, though, on it's not loading here. Crypto Sleuth reveals real reason why USDC's breakup with Tron actually took place. Now, Truth Labs, I think you have this highlighted. There was a few key parts of this that were pretty important of him owning 17 wallets.
Yeah, so they did extensive research into Tron's past, its founder Justin Sun, and their activities on and off the blockchain. Began with a revelation about the ICO and the distribution of the Tron tokens here, the TRX tokens. They took a look at Tron's ICO, the DAO blockchain funded by Sun. And then in this thread,
pull up the screen for you.
In this thread, Justice Sun owns 17 of the top 20 Tron wallets, accounting for 98% of the total supply. I would say that seems centralized, 98%, right? I would say that's pretty fair. The report further delves into the connection between these wallets and a network associated with the CCP, which is involved in significant crypto-related frauds and the laundering of proceeds from illegal activities. One of their wallets was a Genesis wallet, receiving 133,000 ETH from ETH ICO in 2014, 2015. Moreover, they claim over $3 billion in Bitcoin on Tron went missing from a contract that was last active in 2022, the day FTX went bust, highlighting another suspicious case of potential fraud by Justin Sun. The implications of the findings are vast, with Truth Labs suggesting that the potential for financial impropriety, such as the creation of unbacked USDT to be swapped for USDC, could be a contributing factor to Circle's decision to distance itself from Tron. What if Justin Sun, the number one mentor of USDT, decides to print 3 million in unbacked USDT, swap them out for backed USDC, and use that to make his unbacked holdings whole again, posted Truth Labs, highlighting the risk involved. Well, one thing I think it's a little bit fair. Yes, he is the number one mentor of USDT, and then Cantor Fitzgerald has been pretty clear saying, the reserves are there. Saying, well, what if Justin Sun decides to print unbacked USDT isn't a real representation of how Tether works. So I would say this article is coming off a little bit biased. Distancing themselves by discontinuing their business on Tron is critical to their survival, critical if they seek to improve their chances of approval when it is time to go public, talking about Circle. So, yeah, I think Circle is going to be the stablecoin. USDC is going to be the stablecoin of compliant blockchains. Tether is going to be the stablecoin of move fast and break things exchanges. I think there's ways to do a move fast, break things approach without being unethical, without breaking laws that are unclear, at least. And so, I'm still, if I had a choice, I got to put $100 in a stablecoin, I'm still choosing USDT.
Yeah, I'm kind of just cool with both at this point. I think you put out a good point. One's more, global utilized, and one's more regulatory compliant with the United States. And there's going to be constant competition, like the Pepsi versus Coca-Cola type scenario here. And it's been a decade. People have been calling for the downfall of Tron and USDT Tether here for a long time now, and they haven't been toppled yet. In fact, the NYDAG actually lost against them, or they settled with them, quite a few years ago. So I don't see USDT ticking anytime soon. People look at it as some black swan. But I just don't expect that to go anywhere anytime soon here. But what I do want to talk about, though, is Justin Sun. So let's talk about these altcoins that are starting to rip. The one thing Justin Sun is good at, I am not a fan of Justin Sun, of course. I think, him dumping all of his positions and everything early on to investors, and just, you guys know the 9 yards on that. He knows how to buy specifically the top or the bottom of every market and sell the top of every market. And he did just recently go in big with a $500 million bet. Tron founder Justin Sun has made waves in the cryptocurrency market with a significant $500 million transfer. The transaction originating from JustLend, a platform Sun supports, has raised questions as it swiftly moved to HTX, a platform where Sun holds a prominent advisory position. The massive transfer came into the spotlight as a whale alert data showed us here. Now, I believe he did purchase a ton of crypto. Do you remember how much crypto he bought and what the crypto was?
A whole bunch of Ether, correct?
Oh, this says it might be a personal investment, diversifying. I thought this was the article for it. I don't know if I have it highlighted here. I'll have to find it right now. I'm going to pull it up as we pull up these.
He bought a whole lot of Ethereum. Everybody is betting on Ethereum to go up. Now, we do have a giveaway, everybody. Every week, if you don't know, we do a giveaway on Blofin. If we share my screen real quick, this is Blofin. This is the Bitcoin trading chart. I'm not signed in right now. I kind of need to look at TradingView. I feel like I kind of want to open a low leverage long with a very tight stop loss, maybe right below this wick right. It's starting to move. It's starting to move up. I'm feeling the FOMO of a trade. But we have a giveaway for Eat My Shorts. Eat My Shorts had the best trade on Blofin for the week. He had a 850% gain on Arbitrum. So good job, Eat My Shorts. We're going to message you correctly. I believe we have the UID. I think Tim is maybe already handling it. So good job, Tim. If you haven't heard from Tim, expect to hear from Tim very shortly. So Eat My Shorts is this week's Blofin winner. Congrats on that. And Nick, what's the details of the giveaway?
You got to message us on Twitter, and then we'll send you this stuff. But also explain the $500 and what that actually is.
Yeah. So we basically we send you Tether. Yeah, we send you 500 Tether of think of it as casino money. Is money for you to play with. If you lose it, nothing. No harm, no foul. Maybe you lose a little time there, but you get to keep all the gains you get from that 500 after 30 days, I believe, or is it 1 month? I don't know. This month has 29 days, 30 days, somewhere around a month. I believe it is 1 month though. Man, yeah, I'm looking at the charts right now. It's we go back at Bitcoin bounced off around this level on the 17th. We keep going back. This is when we crossed I think there's a 200 SMA there. Use it as support, use it as support. I will say this, the more you knock on the door, the more likely you break through. So again, I would have to pull up TradingView. I'd have to look at some Lux Algo indicators, maybe some Market Cipher. Then I would make a choice there. But
I did find
FOMO,
it was 300 million in Ethereum. I wanted the confirmation on the article. He bought it within less than 10 days over the last week. So he's been buying periodically.
Big on ETH.
Yeah. So that could be really strong signs that we're about to hit a pretty significant alt season. And again, he's pretty good at timing those tops and bottoms there. So just wanted to point that out there just for some perspective, which leads us though to the altcoins that are now being speculated to pump next, which is Ethereum layer 2s. Now, I actually agreed to this to an extent. With layer 2s, I think a lot of them have actually already seen significant gains, whether it's Arbitrum or Optimism or, really of the any layer 2s out there. We're going to go over a Polygon Matic chart that I'm extremely bullish on. But this is also starting to see that flood over into DEXs. I've told you guys this a dozen times on this channel. We have videos on it where it's like, after layer 2's pump, guys, that is not where I'm looking to make the majority of my money. It's going to be off the DeFi and the decentralized exchanges. That's why we've talked about Joe through Avalanche. It's why we were talking about OrdiSwap. It's why we want to get into those AMMs. And that's where it's going to aggregate all of that liquidity and then flow that into the rest of the ecosystem. So what are the tokens, the layer 2 tokens here that we're looking to pump on this article?
Well, first up, we have the Matic USD. From the 4-hour chart, the token had attempted to hit $1.05. I actually tweeted about it this morning. I didn't know we were going to pull up an article on this. Let me go to my posts here, not my likes here. Let me go to hit refresh because I posted it this morning. We scroll down. Uni is going nuts. I tweeted about that.
On your Twitter?
Yeah, this is on my X account. Polygon is the biggest gainer of the top 20 over the last 24 hours, despite bearish divergence on the 4-hour there. So kind of, maybe a little short liquidation there. But can it hit $5 this cycle? If we go to Polygon, okay, we got 2 resounding yeses. Chat, what do you think? I'm going to pull up Polygon.
I'm so bullish on Polygon.
Number 12.
How can you not be bullish on
this
Polygon?
article today was so the
15.
Polygon vesting contract, guys. The vesting contract for all of the early insiders and all the marketing and the advisors, etc., is officially empty as of today. Polygon Matic has some of the best tokenomics on the entire market, like over 90-something% in circulation at this point. It is starting to get a huge upgrade coming into, I think, the next 3 months with a pull upgrade, which gives it this whole new perspective as a layer 1. It's no longer going to be looked at as like Ethereum's little brother that they use and just make them do all the ugly chores with, right? This is no longer be looked at as a layer 2. I think it could be compared to something like Solana. So for that reason, if Cardano can hit, or Solana can hit a 60, 70, $80 billion market cap, I think 100%, in my opinion, this is my opinion, Polygon Matic could definitely do that again.
All right, next up, we have, after Polygon, we have IMX as one of the other L2s, as an ETH L2, strong correlation with ETH. When ETH increased 7.9%, IMX jumped by a similar percentage within the same period. If you don't know, IMX is a gaming play with gasless transactions. They were the first to do gasless transactions. And IMX was my first big, really good crypto airdrop, and my first NFTs were on IMX as well. So shout out to Gods Unchained there. After IMX, we have OP. OP revealed is trying to hit the $4 resistance. One mo again. Previously, it hit $4.12. Why it couldn't get 8 cents more, I don't know. But moments later, it had a sharp rejection, which sent it to $3.60. It hit a sharp rejection like DZ on the dance floor in middle school there. However, the price has recovered. It is now changing hands at $3.84. Let's go to OP. Let's look at OP. Now, and then I'm going to have a hot take on another L2. OP is down 3.4% if we hit the max. Folks, we are flirting with near the all-time highs for OP here. We also have another big layer 2, that's ARB. And I want to share some news about ARB. It's some we've talked about before on this channel here. If you go to
coming up quick
token unlocks, ARB is not that far away, folks. We are now 3 weeks away from $2 billion going to be unlocked. Well, is that a lot? 87%. It is 87% of the circulating supply. I might be looking to take some ARB profits and roll it into just some other L2s. I don't think it would be a terrible play here. So ARB, I wanted to show you that before we talk about this. They're saying it's trying to go up to $1.89. However, it could face a hurdle at $2.13. The biggest hurdle is the $2 billion, the 80% going to be unlocked. I don't think most is going to hit the market. I think a very, very small amount is going to hit the market, but I definitely think some of it is going to hit the market. There's going to be a lot of selling pressure.
I got a crazy take, I think, on this one too. So this is a lot of selling pressure, right? Like we're talking about potentially that's coming up with this. But we have seen, and DZ is actually the one that changed my perspective on this with the Polkadot video he was working on, where the unlock actually equated to a lot of development and price action in both Polkadot and its ecosystem. There's also a possibility here, a decentralized exchange, guys, a DEX that has not moved yet, is going to be Camelot token. It's sitting at $1,700 right now, and that might seem crazy to you for that price point. But guys, it's a very small market. It's because of the tokenomics. It's got a very, very limited supply here. And it has not moved really at all that much here. If you look on the 3-month time frame, in fact, even in the last 7 days, it's down compared to Uniswap and all these projects moving. So this is a project we've been watching. We've been talking about in the Discord. We made some call outs here saying this is something I actually think I'm going to pick up here. That unlock might actually equate to maybe Arbitrum's price. Kids see some negative selling pressure, but a lot of the ecosystem development start seeing a lot of price action in its environment as well. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that one. This is a little hidden gem there. Again, do your own research, but it's kind of the holy grail of Arbitrum's ecosystem.
Crypto Crank is calling it here. OP had the same unlock, and then it ripped 150%. Yeah, what we saw in the Polkadot ecosystem with the Parachains had a big 12-month unlock. It's like, all right, we got all this DOT in the ecosystem, then all this DOT was unlocked. DOT fell in anticipation of the event. It fell for 30 days. We were looking at the chart, maybe 12 hours, maybe 18, 36 hours. Kind of traded sideways a little bit down, and then it was just off to the races. So everybody was overly worried about the selling event, the capitulation. Oh, it's going to dump. And it was a buy the rumor, sell the news. The markets priced it in. Well, it reminds me of the meme. It's priced in.
Here's the thing with Arbitrum, especially, is they're one of the most generous when it comes to exchange tokens. Like their tokenomics may be kind of sus right now because you have the giant unlock, but you're highly incentivized to stake ARB and be involved in it. So just like GMX, you're very, very incentivized to be part of that ecosystem.
Yeah, and GMX, one of the 10K portfolio winners yet to pop. It's the only one that hasn't popped yet lately. Keep an eye out on that one. There's a reason I haven't sold it. But speaking of Polygon, will this send Matic to $3? Everybody, maybe even $5. Some are saying here. Polygon last unlock goes to Team on Wednesday, February 21st. That is just a couple days ago. They just received their very last portion of the vested tokens from the vesting contract. In total, 273 million tokens valued at $250 million were released to the foundation's wallet. Josh brought up they have really good tokenomics. If we go to Polygon, it's ranked 15 here. 92% was that number you were talking about. You said over 90%. 92.8. So really, you could round up 93% of the 10 billion tokens have been released already.
With that was dang. Click on that market cap though. It's what I'm obsessed with. On that
so
chart.
If we go to if we go here, then we all right. So we want to hit max, and then we're going to pull up market cap. So market cap is going to fluctuate. It's going to diverge from this slightly.
It is the same chart. There has been almost zero token inflation.
Well, let's see here.
It's been a little bit, but it's not much.
We'll round up. We'll say it's right around $3. Right now, it's around $1. So 3x by price. And if you go by market cap, it was right around 20. It's a little less than 10. It's a little closer to like a 2.2x. So a little bit of divergence. So your 3x might be a 2x if you're looking at previous levels there. Still pretty good though. Let's see. We have but back to Polygon here. Polygon unlock is now going to be done. Is that the end of the selling pressure? Now that the entirety of the supply is now in circulation, it gives the price a chance to enter into price discovery. However, there's still some concern about when the foundation might start selling the coins, as the entirety of the unlocked tokens still sit in the foundation's wallet. I think they're going to do an ETH foundation. They'll probably sell 15, 18 months from now, and they'll probably catch the top. Sandeep is smart. I don't think Sandeep is selling now. Wait a minute. No, Sandeep's the founder. Foundation's different. They're two different entities. Never mind. I wouldn't want to apply anything.
And DZ, you did a Polygon staking video last year, right?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Long
We do
time
need
ago.
to do an upgrade one on the
Yeah.
Matic upgrade.
Well, it's
Dust
a
just asked
1-to-1,
that.
but yeah, the staking is. I've got a big bag of Polygon. I'm super happy about it.
Dude,
I
the
just added
restaking
more.
on that's going to be insane.
I know.
That upgrade,
Yeah.
it's insane, guys. We'll do a video on it because the Web3 gaming, I think, is going to be a huge narrative too, and they're obviously the largest player in that category. There's like, actually, let's click on Polygon's ecosystem right now. Can we do that live? Actually, no. You know what we'll say that for? The members only stream. Ooh, we're gonna do that right now, guys.
Yeah, you know what? And on that note, yeah, we're already hitting an hour now. Anything? Oh, there's one more major news. Avalanche C chain experienced block production halt. AVAX pulled a Solana and it pumped. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. In a recent development, the C chain encountered significant disruption in the block production, leading to a halt for over an hour.
Yep, it's back.
Go ahead.
It's back.
Oh, yeah, it's back. Bigger bag by the end of the bull run. Avalanche versus ETH. Thanks, fellas.
Matic.
Matic.
Avalanche
Option
has
C.
pumped. Avalanche is like already ranked 10 or 11.
AVAX is
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see ETH outperform, even though it has a higher market cap. But if you want an Avalanche play, I think is it Benkey Finance? Benkey Key. Yeah, I would. That would be my Avalanche play here. Key. Benkey Finance. It's a DeFi on Avalanche play, and if you know what, we'll just do a quick DZ assessment here. 76,000, followed by several people I follow here. What are the comms like? 26 minutes ago. Okay, that's good. 26 minutes ago, 34 minutes ago, 4 hours. I haven't even really read these tweets, and I have to see like when's the last time they did one. But you know, at least they're active. And honestly, sometimes they're not even active, folks. So you got to at least be active. SWE achieved first offline transaction. That's pretty cool. Pivotal development promises to reshape transaction boundaries. Was this using the air gap capabilities? So SWE now enables offline transactions, broadening their reach and making digital assets more accessible here. All right. So internetless transactions sounds like something only possible on SWE. All right. That's pretty cool. Uses advanced cryptography and mesh networks, enabling direct device communication without traditional internet. All right, so that's going to be cool. Imagine the hashes talking to each other. That'd be the oversimplification there. So I'm bullish on that development. I think that's going to be pretty big for privacy tokens, maybe in the future there. So
I got a privacy token too right now. Waiting on it.
So maybe SWE is going to be the privacy network. Looking at that breakthrough. So yeah, I would say that's pretty cool. Using basically digital camera lenses to talk via hash graphs. Sounds like the future. Sounds like we're one step away from Skynet right there. But folks, we do have a members only stream. We're going to roll into that. Get your questions in. We'll be joining that. Any other things you want to mention?
No, ready to get to this. We got some great content coming out, guys. And we'll see you next week in Panama live on multiple occasions, guys. I'm excited to see you guys soon.
I better hear some GNR.